The issue that separates nearly all these thinkers from Platonists is this curious word, light. This is what separates them. And I'd like to see if I can make a transition to this most mysterious word. When man experiences the world and makes judgments about it as he proceeds into higher and higher classes, remember tree, living things, right, from beyond living things in the sense of vitality, right? We were going into what are called abstractions. For the Platonist, what you're really doing is your mind is getting in touch with a set of ideas, capital I, and to that degree you're participating in a realm of ideas. You're not experiencing in your head or in your mind anything. There's nothing in there but cells, right? You're not there. People can look into the TV machine to look for the images, and it's likely not to be there for some reason, even though they emerge from them. Is that true? Well, where do they come from? In some way that machine must participate in something, and the brain or the machine is just a vehicle through which those are registered and communicated. Same thing here in the realm of the mind. For the Platonist, the mind participates directly. Right? There's a participation into the realm of ideas. Those ideas are nothing other than mind. Better word for mind, the intelligible. The ideas, therefore, can be hierarchically arranged. The ideas that are unities of other ideas, when you finally get to that idea, which is the idea of all ideas brought together into a unity, that idea of all ideas is nothing other than the idea in the mind of God, of all creation. The idea of all ideas is the idea in the mind of God that brought about the entire creation. Right. Therefore, that one idea, which God must have had in the creation of the universe, he contemplated on his own idea, used that as a model, and with the skill of a craftsman, as it were, created the entire universe. Therefore, the idea itself is a whole. It contains within it everything that was, is, and will be, as a simultaneous whole. It's not divided into present, past, and future, for those are the separations into progression. Therefore, a simultaneous whole, this idea, therefore, any simultaneous whole that contains within itself the highest expression of the whole, is what is called eternity. For eternity is a simultaneous whole. Therefore, the basic idea in the mind of God, one idea, is that whole of all wholes, which then is experienced as eternity. Right? That's the idea of eternity, and all of the ideas within that class are eternal. But to experience that idea directly is the experience of beauty. Beauty itself. Now, how is it experienced if it is an experience of beauty? Because beauty is the name of something. Beauty is the name of something. What is that thing about which you are calling beauty? It is a divine luminosity. In that divine luminosity, which is beauty itself, because there's nothing that can be even imagined to be more beautiful than that, one grasps, therefore, the nature of reality, ultimate reality. One recognizes that it is no different than mind, or intelligibility, I'll call mind. It is a living vitality. It's the source of all vitality. And since it is the very nature of reality, another word for that is being. Therefore, to encounter this directly, one is overcome with a vast sea, as it were, of beauty itself, where you're not different from it. That's another way of talking about the idea in the mind of God. This is the idea of all ideas. Another way of putting that is to say that any time you're working on something and you come to an insight into anything that you're doing, that moment of insight and intuition can be deepened and broadened depending upon the subject matter that you're in. If it finally includes yourself on the highest level, then in that moment of insight, you recognize, do you not, you're able to stay there. So you're able to endure this. That experience of insight is what mind is experienced as in this experience. Therefore, in that experience, you know it's mind, because in this pure sense, mind is nothing other than a pure intuition into the nature of reality. To have the experience of a true insight into the nature of reality, you must therefore recognize that reality is not dead, but is the very source of vitality. And that very source of vitality then is disclosed as nothing else, as what is most preeminently real. Well, this is Platonic thought. So this is Platonic thought. Now, a war occurs over this. A great struggle occurs over it. People don't want to admit this. No, 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 it can't be. No, 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 it can't be. Let's change it. Let's change it. So what do? Well, the first thing to do is you have to take the idea of light, and this whole idea, because this divine beauty is the divine luminosity, that's the experience of divine luminosity. You have to see it in opposition. You have to see it as an opposition. Light and dark. Therefore, man has descended into this body, and the body is dark, right? It obscures our vision, and we're captured in it, and it's a jail-like structure. We're imprisoned, and we seek to get out of our prison into the light. And therefore, there's a vast struggle going on here. If you personify the forces that are holding us back, personify both, then you get an evil power over here, and over here you get a good one. Forces of light against forces of darkness. If you do that, you're taking this idea of the struggle and polarizing it. When you polarize it, you turn it into opposites. When you turn it into opposites, then you find yourself in that struggle within your own soul. A war within yourself, mirroring the cosmic struggle outside. The reason we suffer so much in this world is because of apprehensive representation. We experience everything in our minds. We're separate and solitary. We're caught in this cell. Over here, no cell. No boundary, because you know what? Here, the Platonists would say, I appreciate your thought that perhaps you do experience all this in the mind. Would you mind pointing out right now where the mind is? Right? You do experience things in the mind, don't you?
That's what I've been taught.
And if so, should we not? Like right now, what are you looking at?
You.
No, where?
Out there.
Where?
Right there.
No. You've been taught what?
That it's in here.
That's right. Hi, what's moving? What's moving? What's moving? What's moving?
Everything is moving.
Oh, no, not this. How about this? Is this moving?
Your hand is moving.
What? Is it my hand? Where do you experience it? Where do you experience this?
In my mind.
Therefore, what's moving?
My mind is moving.
Thank you. It's in your mind right now. You're looking at me. What are you looking at now? You're looking at your mind then, aren't you? Right now, you're looking at my mind. Huh? Good. Hi. Hi. I'm in your mind, right? I'm in her mind, right? No wonder this is a weird evening. What's in your mind?
You are.
Right? Right? While you're looking at me, can you quickly look over at the boundary and see whether you can see the edge of the mind? I mean, you are taught that you experience things in your mind.
Yeah.
If it's in it, shouldn't you know the boundary?
Yeah. Well, I should at least be able to look around in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Look here. If you accept this, you see, then you're divorced from reality. You're separated from reality. You're caught in a vast struggle between opposing forces. This is Gnostic thought. This is Gnostic thought. It's taking this idea, dropping it one more level. If you take Gnostic thought, all right, eliminate the war between good and evil, but build on this apprehensive representation as the basis for your thinking, then you're a Stoic. If you carry a little backpack and go from town to town giving antidotes, you're a cynic.
So there isn't this struggle isn't Platonic between dark and light and
Have you ever seen it?
in Platonism?
No. Have you ever seen that struggle?
Well, I've experienced both conditions.
Yeah, okay. This idea that this represents reality is a Gnostic idea. If you're asking, is this in Plato? No, it's not in Plato. When you deify this, then this becomes Satan, this becomes the angel of light, however you want to put it. This then enters into Christianity, is the war between Satan and Jesus. Therefore, it has a Gnostic parallel. Its thought is Stoic. It expresses itself as a cynic philosophers in that age. And that's the way in which it carries this struggle aloft. But see, what's happened in history is that our culture allows Christianity and all of the various forms of Christianity, or I should say of Gnostic dualism, because these are two at war. We allow this Gnostic dualism, we support it in a variety of ways, but they all agree to one thing. Don't teach this. Close your mind to this. So therefore, what we have, you see, in our culture, we have what might be regarded as a kind of a war. Everybody in our culture, public education, is taught Stoic philosophy. They root you in Stoic psychology. They urge you to stay in the sciences and keep on particular things, and that's where the intelligibility of things can be found. And therefore, it creates the kind of struggle that finds its expression during crises into this. But this you have to learn on your own. This you have to learn on your own. There's no doubt about the fact that there is a struggle here too. But it's a struggle between wisdom and ignorance, not between, see, when you deify these forces, deify them, characterize them as opposites, and then have them at war with one another, that's different than looking at see, the problem with Platonic thought is very simple, and that is there isn't any evil. There's a deprivation of good, right? It's a denial. To the degree to which one doesn't grasp the good, then that deprivation leads you in ignorance. That's what it is. It's a battle between ignorance and knowledge. It isn't that there isn't a personified force of evil, because all men, one way or the other, seek the good. Whatever it is they desire it because they see it as good. They don't consciously desire it because it's evil. They only desire it because they think it may return to them some benefit that may enhance their own existence.
There's also a big thing between matter and that duality, the fact that
yes.
matter was created by a demiurge, you know.
Yes, some people hold that view, but if you read The Time Is, you'll find out that the basic eulay, the stuff of this, is really brilliant. It's gold-like. That's what it is. It's gold-like. It sparkles. It's radiant. It's our identification with our perceptions that obscures the light. Our beliefs control the flow of light. False beliefs about the nature of reality is what obscures all this.